مشاهدي فضائية جمهورية جنوب السودان، أحييكم عبر برنامج نبني بلدنا، برنامجنا اللي بيتناول بعض القضايا بتهم المواطن وبتهم البلد. وفي مقدمة هذا البرنامج الأستاذ كارلو أريغونا واني، الناشط في مجال المجتمع المدني، وزميله أيضا الناشط في مجال المجتمع المدني ألا وهو السفير جون أندوغادوكو. You are most welcome in this program of Building the Nation or نبني بلدنا.
Thank you very much, Carlo. Our regard to follow the program in South Sudan, across the world. We are here to continue with the civic educations, and we are expecting in the studio shortly the Director General of the National Bureau of Statistics to come and elaborate on the activities of the National Bureau of Statistics. Carlo, we are counting down toward election.
Now, since we are now counting down towards election,
Yes.
7 months and 10 days from the extension,
Yes.
we are left with some activities only to be covered in this 2025.
Yes.
And election is, which is election year is 2026.
Yes.
I don't know how far
Well,
the electoral institutions are, National Bureau of Statistics, one of the electoral institutions. How far they have received funds for that?
See, Carlo, at the end of the day, the critical point in the election in the Republic of South Sudan is the political will. Once there's a political will, the red activity will fall in. Because without political will, election cannot go forward. And that political will should come from the 5 bloc who are the party to agreement. That is incumbent Tigonu, led by the president, and the political grouping under the incumbent Tigonu, followed by the IO, followed by SOA, followed by OPP, followed by FD. All of them has responsibility, Carlo. This country cannot be kept hostage under the deception of lack of decision by some political party. The time has come now for people of South Sudan to look this politician in the eye and ask them, what is the dilemma
Of taking decisions.
taking decision on this? What are you fearing? This program, Build a Nation, Carlo, will not hesitate. Tell the truth. The truth is, some of the political party in this bloc, they don't want election, simply. Why? Because they fear to be put before the people of South Sudan to get the mandate. SPLM under President Salva Kiir have tested the will of people in 2010 election.
Yes.
And they know the will of the people. The rest of these political parties, some of them have also tested, and they know their capacity. So we want to appeal to all the 5 political blocs that put interest of South Sudan before anything else. This country...
South Sudan is above all of us.
Exactly. And we need election. That's why we start calling in the institution which matter for election. We're starting with the National Bureau of Statistics. Dr. Agustino Tong Maya is coming.
He will try to explain.
He will explain about his 27 program.
But the good things now, Ambassador, from his own program, which I have it here, maybe I will just show it to the camera. This is the activities of National Bureau of Statistics 2025
to
2026, 2027.
Until
in 2025, he's left with only 2 programs.
Yes. Let us wait until
one of it is mapping. Field mapping is going to commence on the mid of October here.
He will come and clarify more about this, Carlo.
Yes.
We wait
But
until let him come. You, the follower of the Ssbc, inside South Sudan across the world, stay tuned. You'll get more elaboration from the Director General himself. But what we want to emphasize
But the
here,
mapping is good so that we sensitize our
Yeah.
people.
we,
Because through that mapping of the country,
yes,
he will map the rural areas and the urban areas. And then from there, they will discover which urban area or which rural areas is having people.
we on record, Carlo, in this program, we have been saying that census is not for election. Census intended to provide data for socio-economic planning. And Agustino will come and elaborate on this, because as a Director General of the National Bureau of Statistics, and under the National Bureau of Statistics, they are the one conducting the census. So the mapping which they are going to do is a preparation for them to prepare to know where are the populations, how many villages, whatever view, he will come and elaborate. But let me say this, Carlo. While we wait for him to come and he will come and elaborate, you see, last time we have discussed issues on the Electoral Commission. See, Electoral Commission issue go hand in hand with National Bureau of Statistics. And we have now clarified a very important anomaly, which are always pushed by political parties or political grouping. The politicians are saying, unless census is conducted, election cannot take place. Unless we have a new constitution, there's no election. Unless refugees return and IDP return to their villages, we cannot have election. Now, the Director General of National Bureau of Statistics, with his team, has now put this to rest. It has now removed the issue of census from any electoral process until 2028.
Yeah, the final result will be January 2028.
Yes. So any politician in the Republic of South Sudan, whether it's part of the agreement or non-agreement, who continue to say that census must be conducted before election, that individual or that group who are saying that kind of languages, they in fact meant that they want extension. Simple like that.
If they want extension, means they want to stay in.
And this extension, this time if they want extension, this extension will go until January 2028. Because that is the time when the census result will be published. So if somebody say election cannot take place until we have census, it means that you have to wait until 2028. That's the meaning of it. But the population of South Sudan, in the current biting economic situation, cannot afford to wait until 2028 to conduct election. We appeal.
This will bring us to the parties of agreement.
Yes.
Before I elaborate on that, let us go for a short break, and we shall be back as soon as possible. Our guest is already
Thank you.
on that,
Thank you.
so that we can continue from there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Viewers around the world and across South Sudan, welcome back for this program of Building the Nation. And our guest is with us, Dr. Agustino. Welcome to this program. Now, this is the second time you are with us. As you know that we are still carrying civic education, and your institution is so crucial in issue of civic education. Many South Sudanese want to hear from you. What is the latest which you have in your institution, so that I can go deep later after you explain to them what you did from that time up to now.
Thank you very much. It's a great opportunity to be back and to have a discussion with you two. It's always wonderful to highlight national issues and to pinpoint issues of education around statistics, the census, the household surveys, and more generally how they connect to the policy of the country. And so I'm grateful to come back.
Welcome.
And on that, I want to also update you on our recent activities. When we last met, we discussed the census plans. We also discussed the two major surveys we were undertaking. And at that time, we were engaged in data collection for the two major surveys. We are also engaged in developing the plans for the census. Good news is that we have now finalized the collection of two data sets. The household budget survey, which focuses on the economy and the general well-being of the population. This is where we are able to estimate poverty level. The last time we did that was 2009 when we collected the data and did the analysis, and that's why if you go in the literature, you will find 51% of the population being in poverty. That was in 2009. So it's been a long time since we did that. So we were able to generate resources from the international community and have now implemented and collected data from close to 6,000 households nationwide. So that's one exercise that will replenish our evidence in terms of policy making within the area of the economy. Number two is the household survey, and is called the multiple indicator cluster survey. This is focused on women and children, and with funding from international community led by UNICEF. We have been able to generate data on 12,000 households nationwide.
Wonderful.
We are also conducting an analysis, and we'll have preliminary reports around fundamental issues of interest in the policy arena, and we'll have that report released probably first week of November this year. So that's the surveys.
Yeah.
The census, when we last met, we discussed the census, the importance of the census for development, and also partly for elections or political development, and also outline the processes that we have enlisted in ensuring that the census is conducted. We have drawn up a bunch of plans. As a matter of fact, when we last met, we had not had our census strategy. This strategy is not produced. We have a draft of it. And it will be reviewed internally by the Bureau before it is adopted. We have also moved forward with, as I said in the last time we met, that there are other processes that are crucial ahead of the conduct of the census itself. One is the President declaring the census conduct itself, the dates and all of that. And that needs a document that the President would have to issue to the general public per the law for the Constitution.
This is going concurrently with your act also.
Right, exactly. It goes with the act.
This is why always we used to explain to our viewers that the government institution is to apply the law.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Go ahead, please.
That's right. And the second part of it is the President forming the committees. There will be committees at the national level, and there will be committees at the sub-national level. And those committees...
Please clarify that. President form a committee with your recommendation?
Right.
Yes.
So the Bureau of Statistics provides a recommendation for the President. By the end of the day, it's the President that will issue an order. That order becomes law. But then us, as the authority, are providing guidance in terms of what gets done. So the President gets the guidance from us, and he would form the committees based on our recommendation, and he would also declare the conduct of the census. All of this documentations are right in place, and we are waiting for the Minister and the Office of the President to basically meet with us and discuss the possibility of the president putting those out before, of course, we undertake the mapping and other planning programs.
So
more generally, this has been our experience in the last few months.
So interesting to know about the mapping. Please, you elaborate on that so that the doubting Thomas in this country, it is already, you have delinked your activities from the election calendar.
Right.
With what you have just explained,
right.
This is mean automatically that you have delinked
right.
National Bureau of Statistics.
National Bureau of Statistics from electoral calendar.
For 2026.
Now, the parties to agreement,
right.
it is up to them now
right.
to decide because your activities.
Right.
I know that the mapping is going to start on the 15th
right.
of October here.
Right.
Now you are left with 2 activities in this year.
Right.
One of it is mapping. Then the second one is going to be census, pre-test.
Yeah.
Is going to be conducted of census.
Pre-enumeration test.
This is in December.
Right.
You elaborate on that so that the
right.
public and our politicians also need to be educated for that.
Thank you very much. Thanks for pointing me to our work plan. So as the Bureau of Statistics preparing to do the census, as I stated, there are phases of the conduct of the census, and the mapping in this case it's the biggest part. It's a major part of the exercise. It takes roughly 9 months to a year before you could enumerate across the board. And what this entails is that for us to know the country geographically, we have to go from literally state to county to Payam to the household,
yes,
and do the mapping. We do the mapping for structures and natural settings such as forest, and within that we do it within the geography of the country. And so every part of South Sudan has to be mapped. And it takes longer because you're mapping everything about within the geographical
of the country.
Of the country. And so you need a bunch of equipment, you need human resources, and that means for us to invest in the right talents and skills, we have to get the right resources. And so mapping alone costs somewhere between $35 and $40 million. And this is where, once you're done with understanding the structure of the country, you introduce what we call EAs, and you spoke to those earlier. Those are the enumeration areas. So when you go as a researcher or as an enumerator, you know how many households are in each enumeration area. And that's how we map the country. So that process is supposed to kick off right away. But let me tell you that we are somewhat not sure if that's going to happen because we have not been able to get the resources that we need from the Ministry of Finance. And as you all know,
hope so God will help.
Yeah.
You will receive
We're working hard. The Ministry of Finance
this noble work, we hope that you will get the resources for that.
And absolutely. And we are putting a lot of effort with international support in order to generate resources. But as you all know, our country is in very dire economic difficulty.
Do you have contact with our business community here in the Republic of South Sudan?
We do. I mean, but again, this is why we're here. The importance of statistics is not well understood across the board. Yes. Some of the businesses still need an understanding of statistics for them to invest in it. And that's why these discussions are very important. So yes, we have contact with some businesses. And I'll give you an example where a business has actually intervened. 2 businesses have actually come to the Bureau of Statistics. One business came and actually drilled a well. You might have seen it when you paid us a visit. There's a well now at the Bureau, a water well, which we will operationalize in setting up all the water access points and then making sure that the water is treated. So then we don't buy water from anybody. A business, a private sector entity, invested over $10,000 in that. And they came aboard. The door, once you come to the Bureau, you know the gate?
Yes.
The gate was an old one, and the private sector showed up and gave us that gate.
Wonderful.
With all the design. And so, yes, the few businesses that are able to pay keen attention to the importance of the Bureau of Statistics have actually come forward and showed their support. And we would like to do more education so the private sector can support the government in strengthening
this
the
is why
statistical
this
system
program is
of the
so
country.
crucial.
The data is for everybody.
Yeah.
If you want to expand your business, You're going to need some data on population. Yeah. You're going to need some data on infrastructure. Yeah. You're going to need data on penetration of technology. All of that is going to come from the Bureau of Statistics.
But Agustino, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
You have highlighted a very important point. Yeah. The point which I want to ask you is this. Yeah. You alluded to that you need about 35 million or so to do the survey or mapping. Yeah. Now, if that money is not there, it means that the work plan you have, which will terminate with the report in January 2028, will fall back.
True.
Definitely.
Yes.
Now, this question I'm putting to you because, Agustino, you are here, like my colleague Carlos said, we have been telling our people here in this program, this is a very important civic education which enlighten people about the situation going in the country. The National Bureau of Statistics is one of the key institutions which have the association with the electoral process. Right. The National Constitutional Review is another one. Yeah. Political Party Council is another one. And the mother of all is the National Electoral Commission. Right. Now, recently you have done presentation to the High Committee for Implementation of Peace Agreement.
That's right.
About the status of your institutions. Right. Did you present this program to that committee? That's one. That's my question. The second thing is that this is what we have for Electoral Commission is here. Electoral Commission's presentation. What we don't have is the Constitutional Review. We went to them. We want to be on record to the public here. Mm-hmm. We went to Electoral Commission to give us their update like yours. Yes. They say the work in progress. But then we asked them, what did you present to High Committee? Because whatever you present to High Committee is what we want to share to the public. Right. They said it's not ready. And then when it's ready, we'll also invite the chairperson of the National Constitutional Review Commission to come here and elaborate on that. But the point which Carlo made earlier to you, which I want you to elaborate clearly, is that it is clear now that 2026 election, the National Bureau of Statistics will not be ready to produce any census report.
That's right.
That is something you need to put on record.
That's right.
If that is the case, then the politician, wherever they are, they must not know that
viewers around the world and across South Sudan, our apology for this technical issue. It is beyond our control. And now we are back. Ambassador, you have been continuing.
Yeah, I was saying that...
be brief so that
I want to say, I was asking a question to Agustino, that he was there, they were called by the National Committee for Implementation of Peace Agreement, and they did the presentation, and this is why that work plan was presented. But the question which I asked him was that there has been a persistent argument by the political grouping, because we have 5 political groups in this agreement. We have the incumbent Tigonu, we have IO, we have SOA, we have OPP, and we have FD. These are the people governing the country now under this agreement here.
Right.
The revitalized peace agreement here. Right. Now, persistently they're saying, unless you have census, election cannot take place. Right. We in this program, Build a Nation, we have been saying that we want the census and the constitutional making process to be the link for the electoral process. Prior to the technical problem we had, Carlo already said that you, technically with your work plan, delink the census. You
have delinked the activities of
the census from the
electoral calendar.
Upcoming election 2026. Can you elaborate to people of South Sudan that so that people know that election in 2026 should go ahead? Because here the National Electoral Commission have presented a proposal that we don't need census to have election 2026. They're saying that the constituency draw in 2010 election, which are 102 constituencies, and then 102 proposal representation, is still valid because it was based on census of 2008. Right. It's valid according to them. And therefore, that constituencies, nobody has challenged it. And they can go ahead. Because right now, even if you conduct census, you will not be able to get the population which was there in 2008. So what is
this is wonderful. Please.
So, thank you very much. That is a good point of departure into understanding the need for statistics and census, Ambassador.
Yes.
I understand the National Elections Commission is definitely in a very awkward and difficult position because it's tasked with conducting elections, and it must do the needful in order to have elections happening. And so their position is clearly warranted. Now, I also want to register that as Bureau of Statistics, a scientific institution in the government, alongside the legal requirements which mandate the National Bureau of Statistics to produce statistics for the country, I would want to say, if you look at the 2008 census results, even just by virtue of science, you really cannot rely on them for a number of reasons. Number one is that the culture around census statistics is that they are appropriate within 10 years of production. This is global. It's a tradition across the board. Beyond that, you're basically dealing with outdated information. So if you make any decision using this information, you're likely to make a lot of mistakes. And one mistake that could be made within the context of elections is assuming that a constituency in Central Equatoria, for example, which had maybe 2 representatives at that time, it still has now that population which resulted in the creation of 2 constituencies. When in fact, that might not be the case because, for example, we have had people migrating from Jonglei to Mangala, people migrating from the rural areas to Juba, and other surroundings in Central Equatoria. Now, you would, given this increase in population, you would think that Juba will demand more representation within the next elections. And you can see the numbers yourself. Now, if you say that's not the case, Juba retains 2 parliamentarians as we had in 2008, obviously that's not going to be true. You're making a mistake. Or we can reverse it. If in Warab state, where there has been a huge displacement, I know there's no huge displacement, I'm just giving counterfactual. Let's say Jonglei.
Yes.
And Jonglei had, let's say, 9 constituencies. And those 9 constituencies had representatives. Two of the areas, I mean, I'll take Tweed East. Tweed East is nearly deserted. There are not a lot of people there. Now, if you continue to allocate more constituencies in Tweed East on the basis of 2008, and perhaps there's only maybe 10,000 people left in the area, how do you justify that? Because this is to say the constituents of Tweed East who have moved to Central Equatoria deserve representation in Central Equatoria, because that's where they live now, right? But you will not have them represented.
You know, Agustino, let me help you.
And you would send somebody to Tweed East, where there are no people, right, to represent at the parliament, while 60,000 of Tweed East citizens live in Mongala, and they don't have a representation in the national government. What justice do you deliver?
This kind of situation can be resolved by parties to agreement. Let me just give you one of the examples, which is practical. I was there during the national dialogue and the regional dialogue of Equatoria. That regional dialogue, this kind of case was being raised inside the conference, that the population of Juba is more than the population of Yei, Lanya, and the rest.
That's right.
Do you know the chairperson of National Dialogue, with its team, they sat and they decided to increase the delegates from the Juba County or from Central Equatoria to be added as a delegates to the National Dialogue with the two representation. And then Tarkeka also is having the same thing. And then they resolve it, and then they choose one person to be added into the delegation of Tarkeka County. You know, this kind of thing, this country is ours. Easy for us that we can resolve some other issues so that we allow this country to move forward, and then we allow people to choose their leaders.
Absolutely. And let me make two observations. The reason for the Bureau of Statistics is to enable justice and fairness. So when we produce numbers, the purpose of the numbers is actually to deliver justice. If we're looking at education, you want to deliver educational facilities. And at times, we don't see that from the political angle. If you're running for a governor in a state, you must promise to the people what you're going to deliver. If your focus is on education, how will you do justice in education if you don't have data? If your ticket is on health, reforms in health, how are you going to deliver justice without statistics in terms of house facilities available, in terms of the number of children born annually in that particular location, in terms of midwives that would need to be trained and commissioned? All of that is going to come from numbers. And this is true for policy as it is for politics. And so what I'm saying is that while our politicians think of what to do with national elections, and national elections are about that justice and fairness. When a parliamentarian is elected, you expect them to deliver services
to the people.
And if you get elected in a location such as Tweed East, if there are two parliamentarians, resources are to be mobilized to support Tweed East by those people. That's the whole idea. And so if you have me as a representative of Toy North County,
some experience,
and there are no people in Toy North County,
we have some experiences, Honorable Dr. Agustino. We have schools which has been built in the bush. No people there up to now. Up to now, the schools are remain in the bush because there is no population there, and we need to correct the situation.
That's right.
Let me ask this question, Agustino, after what you have said. In this program, we have discussed that we must be very careful with the census result. It can be on both sides. It's a double sword. Because if you conduct a census today, assuming that you have all the data you have now, like you put it correctly, Jonglei is empty. There's no way you could say we must give justice for Jonglei because there are no people there. They move to Mangala, some of them. And then Upper Nile, majority of them move away. The question now is there is a necessity for political leader to take political decision. That's why some of us, including myself, are inclining to using the data of 2008, and despite with all the respect for the scientific data, whatever view, because 2008, there's a sample of population there in this area. Now, situation in this country, Republic of South Sudan, is mostly politically.
Right.
We don't want census produced for us, prelude for another crisis.
True.
Because now, if you see, you make a report, say, okay, 2008, Jungule has this population, and they have this household.
Right.
But now in 2025, these people are not there. Right. They moved to Equatoria.
Right.
But Equatoria is a state on its own. It's not Jungule.
Right.
So whatever you make this data for Equatoria, Central Equatoria, for example, that budget must go to Central Equatoria, not for Jungule.
True.
Now, there are going to be injustice done to Jungule State.
True.
Because they will not have the kind of the budget allocation, what they call a grant given to them, based on the information available in 2008. Now, they will have, this is going to be political time bomb. So the question now is, we are not addressing this to you. You as a technical person provide the background, but this information mainly for the politician.
Ambassador, we are educating ourselves.
Yes.
So that we learn through our mistakes.
Yes.
And our main points in this civic education is to provide facts and truth.
Absolutely.
So that the decision makers can be educated also. Because they are part of us, they can do mistakes like anybody. We have to learn from that.
Yes.
Agustino, let us come back, as Ambassador put it, let us come back to our program. In the program here, I have seen you, already you have done something very great. How many urban towns do we have in South Sudan, and how many areas we have in South Sudan? Please, can you elaborate on that? Is it forward?
Right. So let me start off from what the ambassador just laid out.
Yeah.
The issue of politics around the numbers.
Yes.
And then I get to our mapping
Yes,
urban versus rural settings. The way you're looking at it, Ambassador, makes sense. But the consequence doesn't necessarily have to manifest that way. Here's why. The census approach that we use as a developing country is called de facto. And de facto guarantees that when Ambassador John Andruga shows up in my village at the census night with his kids, and he has decided to move from wherever he was in Nairobi, he's going to my village to live. The census counts are going to consider John Andruga and his family in that village.
Yes.
Now, this brings us to justice. If indeed justice has to be delivered on the basis of who is in a location,
At this counting date.
not necessarily the origin, then the question you raise does not arise. Mm-hmm. Because if you are an Equatorian in Warab State and you are counted, your services should follow you.
Correct.
They go to Warab State. The government delivers those to you in Warab State. The same thing is true for our people who are displaced, who are in the country, whether they are in parts of Jonglei, they are in Upper Nile, they are in Juba, they're somewhere else. That's why the counts matter. That all of us have moved to Juba. It's 50 million people in Juba. The services, more services are supposed to be given
in
to
Juba.
us
Absolutely.
in Juba,
Yes.
regardless of our origin. And so if our thinking around data science or data is that it delivers services to people wherever they are, then there's no argument over this issue of displacement.
But Agustino,
Yeah.
If what we are saying is this is a natural migration.
Yeah.
People move in search of job. People move in search of whatever reason it is.
Right.
But the situation in South Sudan here, this movement of people is not in search of job, not in search of this situation. It is the natural disaster, like the flooding,
and the
force them to move, and the chronic conflict.
Yes.
So this, you the technical people, need to put this in the factor, because the movement of the huge movement of the from Upper Nile to the area is not because people want to move.
Yeah.
They are forced by circumstances which is beyond their control.
Right.
There's war, and the flooding.
Yes.
Now, this factor, how do you factor this in the scientific way of doing it? Because what you are saying is natural movement.
Yes.
But we have a natural movement here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm talking about political implication of this.
Right.
Because those people have moved forcefully because of the war. Right. Now, we conduct election in 2026 for a period of 5 years.
Wow.
Or 4 years for that matter. Right. Now, the next election calendar will come after 4 years. Now, during this period, there will be member of parliament until the next election.
Right.
You will conduct census in between here.
Yeah.
And also, during this period of 5 years, population will start returning to their villages.
Right.
Which will offset the absence of those people there. Right. The empty place where you got in the census would have been filled up over a period of time. Right. That's why the argument of balancing or compromise, maybe the word compromise is not acceptable in scientific work, but in our situation, let us have a hybrid of international technical accepted way of doing things, going together with the political reality of a country. Reality. How do you handle that?
No, I agree with you 100%, Ambassador. I do not, I'm not challenging your position. Yeah. What I'm telling you is that in an ideal setting, regardless of what displaces you,
yes,
if you are displaced within your country, you should continue to receive the services.
Absolutely, absolutely.
If the parliamentarians that we are electing are indeed to deliver services to us, then it does not matter whether I come from Tonj or I come from Awil. If I'm in Equatoria and I'm counted in Juba, whoever is going to be an MP of Juba County, that's my representative.
Yes.
That's how the world works.
It's correct.
Right?
Yes.
And so I am required by law to demand services from
Absolutely.
Where I am. Now, if we embrace that, then whoever is displaced across the country, wherever they will be found, will have a representative, wherever they will be, regardless of the origin. Whether they are displaced by conflict, they are displaced by natural disasters, they are supposed to be represented and be given services.
Correct.
So that's the most important.
Agreed.
Now, number two is, if they were to move back to their origins, that's also fine. And that's why statistics is here to continue to do what we call vital statistics generation. When people return from Uganda, we know how many people are returning from Uganda and from where. And we point to the government. We have 50,000 people who have just arrived. 80% of them are children. What does this really mean if they are in Kojikaji? It means Central Equatoria has to mobilize resources, build more schools, build more health facilities, and provide economic opportunities for the returning people. And so we'll be doing what we call statistical registrations, vital statistic generations, and also conducting surveys every 3 to 5 years in order to map all these needs. So it's not a one-time thing. You do the census and then you reinforce the census with those records continuously. You can still deliver services across the board.
Well, let me ask you one question more.
Before you ask him, he did not answer my question.
I will now get to this.
He'll come to that one, but let me have this thought, which we are starting now. On the same level, assuming that, let's say Jongole, people displaced from Jongole, they are now in Mangala.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
The situation, election is conducted next year.
Right.
Member of Parliament from the population who are displaced, they are elected as part of the Central Equatoria constituencies in the Parliament.
Right.
Before the electoral calendar finish, the situation in Bonyongole stabilizes. Okay?
Right.
This population goes back.
Right.
How are they going to be represented?
So they will still be represented until next election cycle.
Yeah, but now
it doesn't change anything at this point.
When they went back to Jongole, in the original places, because the place was empty, election 2026 does not have representation.
Right.
Who will speak for them?
Well, if you have another elections, or you will have, this is a good point to raise, right? You're going to have, again, you're going to have to do those intercensual data collection activities in order to map where people are moving to.
Yes.
And you can provide, within the period that the census is waiting to be conducted, you can provide guidance as statistical agency to say population movement has occurred in this place. And you can add that to the policy discussion to redraw the constituents. This is done world over. You could redraw within 10 years of census conduct constituencies across the board, because you know that population is moving. You have the numbers. Only if you don't have the numbers would you be troubled in order to come about making a decision.
But you see,
redrawing the constitution.
the point here is this, please, because this is something which confuses a lot of people.
Right.
You see, the point here is this.
Yeah.
10 census, as from your explanation, is done every 10 years.
Yeah.
That is why it is valid.
Right.
Anything before 10 years is no longer valid,
Right.
based on scientific information you have. Now, what we are saying here is, you have now scheduled census to be done, and the result will be published in January 2028.
Yes.
So the next one, January 2030,
Right.
38.
Right.
You see?
Right.
The next election, the next census will be done is January 2038.
Right.
Some of us may be there, some may not be there. We don't know.
Right.
But the question here is this: we are addressing practical problem. The way I'm saying, the way I'm talking to you now, we are coming from the background of marginalization.
Right.
You understand?
True.
We have marginalization with the previous ruling group in Sudan.
Right.
People fought for marginalization.
That's right.
This has been our history. Now, if we say, let us use scientific approach,
Right.
conduct census,
Right.
2028,
Right.
the next one 2038.
Right.
Election calendar is not the same with the census calendar.
Right.
We are going to have election 2026,
Right.
another one 2031.
Right.
We have election,
Right.
which is still before another next census has been done.
Right.
Population move
Right.
in this one electoral calendar to back to the area where in your data you don't have people there.
Right.
These people, how are you going to have a preliminary? How are you going to factor in this movement in the next election without affecting your?
And I'll get to this shortly. So what I was saying earlier, within the period of 10 years,
Yes,
you have the census. This is a major exercise.
Yes.
Remember this: the census is for development.
correct.
The major part of it is for development. Elections is a small part.
Yes,
And that's why this discussion is very important. You are saying, let's advocate for what is going to produce fairness and quicken our efforts at conducting elections.
yes,
And so political decisions are going to matter in terms of elections.
yes,
Now, for census, it's a little different because it's scientific, right?
yes,
And so what I'm saying is that as the population changes over time, and that's what happens,
yes,
you have intercensal activities. Those are the major surveys we're talking about.
yes,
Those are registries of movement, and we're supposed to do that. We have vital statistics on birth, we have vital statistics on death and migration. Those numbers, if generated accurately, can be fed into policy decisions to redraw up
the constituency.
constituencies ahead of the census. But we're not investing in that. So it's a combination of activities,
that is very
data
important point.
activities. Yeah. So you do better civil registry,
Yes,
and you do better tracking of those other activities.
yes,
And you do, let's say, surveys, major surveys, every few years. You can still influence how political decisions are made in terms of the drawing of constituencies. Because you will know that in your county, we will know, it's a bit of statistic in your county, there have been people moving in from other counties
Yeah, wonderful.
by registering those. And we can feed that to Central Equatoria, we can feed that Eastern Equatoria, we can feed that to the national government and say, hey, there's need for more services for education in this location. And what that means is that there's need for political representation in order to advocate for those services in those locations.
Wonderful.
That is very
So it's not just the census alone.
Yeah.
There are exercises that will have to be conducted
That is
to
very-
enforce the census.
that is very important.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And so let me...
Then I can
let
say,
me-
I can say, viewers around the world and across South Sudan, we are still continuing this program of building the nation at Ssbc in Juba. Please now let us just come to
Thank you
the
very much.
table which I've
Right.
mentioned. This table is having rural areas
Yes.
and urban areas.
That's right.
The definition of urban areas and the definition of rural areas. How
Right.
did you? Because I discovered that this need to be explained properly,
Right.
so
And-
that it will help
yeah.
the institutions who are dealing with the town plans
Right.
and rural plans.
Right, and this is very critical, and we just had,
And
perhaps
and we are rounding out.
I wish you had allotted me to this earlier. I would have brought
We
you
are
a
going-
new document.
we
There's
are-
a new document on this. We had a workshop on it 2
We
weeks
are going
ago.
to invite you again.
And this is basically to deal with the definition of what is rural and what is urban. Now, this depends on the country. It varies by space. And it even depends on municipality. Juba can come up with its own definition. And when we had the workshop, we invited Juba municipality and the county, and we had 2 days of discussion around delineating what a rural should look like, what an urban setting should look like. And the basics are there, right? In an urban setting, the population is huge, and it's largely concentrated in one space. There are a few of industrial or development indicators. There will be running water, for example. There will be schools. There will be markets, right? So that is what you would consider urban. Right? It does not matter how big the building is or how flashy the building is. If you have these basic services that are delivered in the urban setting,
yes,
that's what urban is. You go to other places that do not have any of this. Those are basically the rural settings, where you don't have the market. The population is scattered right across the board. And that's why when you look at EAs, this document here came as a result of us updating the EA system for a survey that's coming up. By the way, we are planning labor force and migration survey, and we got some resources from ILO in order to update the EAs, the EA system, the enumeration area system, because they are outdated. And so for us to have faith in the product, the scientific products we produce as a result of using the EA system, we needed to update that. And so within the update, we already have structure which identify locations as rural and urban. But these are loosely defined. And so recently we set, with support from UNFPA, to redefine what those are. We now have a report, and I'll share that with you so far. But yes, we have to delineate the difference between the two. And so urban setting are going to have some of the services that I had explained. Educational facilities, health facilities, modern in nature. You're going to have running water. You're going to have some roads. You're going to have some markets. You name it. And then the rural areas will obviously not have a whole lot of that.
Agustino, look at the camera there.
Your final
make conclusion.
Yes, your final message to viewers around the world.
Just look at that camera there and then tell them what is the way forward on this.
In particular to our decision makers.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much again for having me. It's very crucial that we have these discussions. I think what's important is that this discussion should be had, because clarity on what the National Bureau of Statistics does provides not just an opportunity for the population to understand, but also for the policy and political class to internalize the importance of this institution and to mobilize resources for the conduct of different activities, the census, the surveys, the registries. All of this are very important in advancing development for our country, South Sudan. And so more discussions around this are greatly encouraged. And that's my message.
Don't hesitate to come back again, because your institution is so crucial for us in South Sudan.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Viewers around the world and across South Sudan, we have reached the end of this program. And then I will just say, please stay with Ssbc and bye. I know my co-host, Ambassador Duku, also is with me. We can just say bye to you.
Thank you, Agustino, for coming.
Thank you, my brother.
We look forward to seeing you again.
Brothers. Thank you very much.
Thank
this
you.
is very important.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate your statistics. Appreciates your efforts, and this is teamwork. And let's talk statistics. Let's do statistics.
Yes. إلى اللقاء مشاهدي الأعزاء.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.